Okay, I'm going to work through this problem and just see if this makes more sense to you. All right, so we're trying to write an equation of a line going through this point, 4 comma negative 3, and perpendicular, right, to this line. So first thing we need to do is find the slope, right? The two things that we need to write an equation of a line is we need the slope and we need the y-intercept. And so to find the slope of the line, you're going to solve this equation for y. So let's subtract the 2x over. Give us negative 7y equals negative 2x plus 21. And then we'll divide everything by negative 7. So y equals 2/7, right? Because a negative divided by a negative is positive. 2/7 x, and then plus 3, right? Or, sorry, minus 3 plus a negative 3, because I've got a negative or positive divided by a negative. All right, so from this, all I want is the slope, right? But I want the one that's perpendicular to this. So the perpendicular slope, right, would be negative 7/2. Got to flip it and change the sign. All right, so I'm going to be using this point, or this slope, and then I need to use this point. Now there's two different ways that you can do this next part, and I'll show both ways in case one way makes more sense to you than the other. But remember I said you need the slope and you need the y-intercept. So if you go back to, the y equals mx plus b equation here, right? And we call this x and y, because those are our x and y coordinates, and then I'm going to substitute those numbers in place of x and y in my equation here. So I'd have negative 3 goes in place of y, and then I have 4 goes in place of x, or goes in place of x. Oops, let me move that over a little bit. Right. And then I know my slope is negative 7/2, so I'm going to put that here. And then the only thing that I don't know is b, which is my y-intercept. And so that's what I want to know, right, is that y-intercept. So let's go ahead and simplify this so we can figure out what b is. Remember, this is kind of like 4/1 here, so 2 can divide into 4 2 times. And so I have negative 3 equals negative 7 times 2 is negative 14 plus b. And then I need to add the 14 over. Right? And I get b equals 11. So then so there's my slope, right? I've got my slope. I've got my y-intercept now, so I could put those things back into the slope-intercept form. So that will be y equals, in place of m, is my negative 7/2, x, and then my b is 11, so plus 11. Okay, so this is one way that you can get there to the answer, right? We still have to go and figure out what the slope is first, all right, before we do either of these ways. The other way is called using the point slope formula. Okay, and maybe this way would make more sense to you. So this one you have to memorize another formula for. You're not going to be using the y equals mx plus b. You're going to use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then here, that x and y that we have is really going to be our x1, y1 that we fill in here. Okay, so in place of my x1, I'll put 4. In place of my y1, I'm going to put negative 3. And in place of my slope, I'm going to put negative 7/2, right, in place of that m there. So negative 7/2. All right, and so I really have y minus a negative 3 equals negative 7 times, so parenthesis, x minus 4. Right? And so now I can go ahead and simplify this and get it into slope-intercept form, and then I'll have my answer. So here, when I do subtracting a negative, right, that's really adding there, so I'm going to change that. And then I need to distribute that negative 7/2 through. So that will give me y plus 3 equals negative 7/2 x, and then negative 7/2 times negative 4, right, is what I have there. 2 will divide into 4 twice, and negative 7 times negative 2 is going to be a positive 14. Right? And then to get y by itself, I just need to subtract my 3 over, and so I get y equals negative 7/2 x plus 11. So either way I do this, I can get that answer. It really just comes down to preference. Do you like using this point slope formula? It means one other formula to memorize, where you probably already have y equals mx plus b memorized, but here you've got to find your b and then put it into slope-intercept form. Okay, I hope that helps.